permanently? Who knows? Good question. Fuck if I know. Please connect. Please connect. Am I connected? Am I back? Hello?
I think it is.
Hello, world? Am I here? Can you hear me? It's Rex. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Finally. Okay, cool. Great. Lovely. That's gonna be super fun to edit back together. Don't you salute me, you little shit. You're within arm's reach if I really want to. Okay, so essentially what I was saying before my internet took a fat shit on my chest is that when you come off of antidepressants, you have to do it slowly. You have to be weaned off of it. So if you start with like a 300 milligram, then you drop it down to 150, then you drop it down to 100, then you drop it down to 50, then you drop it down to half of a pill, and then you get off of it. If you just are taking a 300 or 500 or whatever milligram of Wellbutrin, and then you stop taking Wellbutrin, and you just don't have it at all, and it's cold turkey, guess what? It fucks with you a lot. It's not good. It kind of puts you through emotional whiplash. And then you do stupid shit, like stepping in front of a fucking bus. So, like, don't do that.
Not staying off social media.
Yeah, and not avoiding social media when it's bad for your mental fucking health. You start doing self-destructive behaviors, and it increases the chance of suicide attempts. Like, yeah, that was like a fucking instant poisoning to Coda's brain. That really was like a fucked up. That was a super fucked up Rube Goldberg machine of attempted murder through multiple ways.
Yeah, like the harassment bots were one thing.
But on top of knowing that he's on antidepressants and then ripping them out from underneath him, that was fucked. That was definitely an attempted murder or an attempt of encouraging suicide, whatever way you want to fucking put it. Which is fucked.
Most unfortunate.
Yeah, the thing is that, like, doctors do keep physical files of things still. And with the fact that, like, this is a retro-futuristic future, I cannot believe, like, there's not a single part of me that believes that he didn't once have, like, that stapled information with his name and the prescription and the date and the doctor in which who did it. Like, there's no way he didn't have that stapled folder of information that's on every single prescription refill that you get, whether you want it or not, every time. There's no way he didn't have one of those in his fucking house. There's no way he never took, like, a picture of it or otherwise and, like, brought it with him. So there's no way in my mind that, like, the breakdown of how prescriptions functioned happened without, like, other factors. Like, someone had to have gotten into his goddamn house and taken, like, the physical paperwork of it as well. Or, like, encouraged him to get rid of it beforehand or something. I don't fucking know. I don't know. But it boggles my mind that the doctors wouldn't, like, just re-prescribe him it. Like, literally, I go to a normal doctor, like a normal family practitioner, and the very first thing they do when you walk in and you sit down on the little thing is they hand you a clipboard, and it's like, have you felt suicidal recently? Have you ever felt suicidal in your entire life? How's your mental health on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being pretty damn good. 1 being, I'm about to kill myself. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, so the idea that he goes into the doctor and is like, I need a prescription for my antidepressant again. And they were just like, no. Even after he, like, obviously exhibits signs of being wildly depressed. Like, I don't know if he just didn't have, like, a support system. Yeah, he probably didn't have a fucking support system, and he probably felt so bad that, like, he didn't think clearly enough to go back to the doctor to get the prescription redone. Because his support system was his team, and now they're the ones telling him to kill himself. So, like, it was probably a breakdown of that. But, like... Okay. He tried to get refills on his medication, but was denied every time. He probably just, like, went to the equivalent of Walmart and was like, hey, I need a refill. And they were like, we don't have a file on it. Fuck off. Which is definitely something that they exactly do. And eventually Coda went off his meds. Psychological collapse followed. No, oh, fuck, shit. No, I don't want to quit. That was very confusing for me.
Your cursor was in the...
Yeah, my cursor was just accidentally on the quit thing. I should have spoken up. I've been quietly following the Coda situation out of a strange sort of curiosity, like watching a car crash from a distance. Rubbernecking. It's called rubbernecking. That's why when he tried to kill himself, I asked my aunt to step in and investigate. It felt off. If I was going to murder someone, that's how I'd do it. Domino, don't admit that kind of thing out loud! Iris is listening! I'd find their emotional weakness, exploit them, and let the problem solve itself. But an Iris almost killed someone? Seriously? What sort of twisted code of ethics is Valkyrie teaching her Iris that she'd be willing to go that far?
Grace conserved mom moments.
Yeah, like, that's her kid, basically.
Yeah.
And she's just like, who let my daughter murder someone?
Yeah.
You know? I'd be pretty fucked up about it, too, personally. Domino's right. But this is too indirect to accountably be considered murder. Valkyrie and her Iris simply arranged to push Coda over the edge. He was already in emotional peril after we humiliated him in front of the internet. An encouraging push isn't illegal, technically, but to me, this was murder. Punchy78 warned me. He warned me Valkyrie held grudges and never let them go. Coda embarrassed Valkyrie. She wasn't going to let that slide. I could easily see her asking her Iris to mess with him to teach him a lesson. A rather harsh lesson. We are clearly dealing with a narcissistic sociopath. Stop using this as shorthand for people who are fucked up. Don't do that. It is ableist. Do not do. Narcissists are not evil. They're just people who have like a different brain chemistry. They just function differently. That doesn't make them evil murderers. And sociopaths are also the same. Again, empathy is not the end-all be-all of human existence and how people function with each other. It matters more to be compassionate. I would rather have someone who's a sociopath and is compassionate than someone who professes themselves to be an empath and makes all of my pain about them. Stop using narcissist and sociopath as shorthand for bad things. Neither of those things individually are bad things. They are just things. That's like if you called every single person who, like... That's like if you said that someone is a depressed, anxiety-riddled person and always threw that in their face as the reason why they don't succeed in life. Like, it's fucked up. You can tell that that's fucked up. You know that that's not right. Stop doing it to narcissists and sociopaths. People who are considered sociopaths and psychopaths and narcissists are still fucking people! Ah!
Max, calm down.
No! Makes me so frustrated. People who I love desperately, who are the center of my lives, are basically called sociopaths every fucking moment of their waking lives because they just don't have the same kind of capacity for empathy. Fuck off about it. Fuck off about it, honestly. A sociopath with an emotionally vulnerable Iris. Just call it what it is. A manipulative bitch. That's what she is. She's a manipulative bitch, not a narcissistic sociopath. Those things aren't the same. They are not the same. Ah! So Valkyrie's entire return to glory storyline, coming back from retirement and putting her enemies down in the process. Nothing but a manufactured series of lies. And given how far she's gone with this, I doubt she's done causing harm. So, Valkyrie is absolute scum. Good, yes, Jinx. Thank you for jumping in and, you know, not being super fucking ableist. The question becomes, what do we do about it?
Hold on. Think this through.
We're headed for another showdown, aren't we? We qualified for the Pro Tour, and so did Team P2W. That means facing Valkyrie again. You just know that if she'd cheat to beat us in a charity show match, she'd absolutely cheat to destroy us in the main event. Can't let this slide. Gotta do something, right?
This can't be happening.
We need to save her iris. That poor child manipulated by Valkyrie's twisted whims. See, all of that, perfectly fine. Manipulated, perfectly fine. Calling her twisted, perfectly fine. Not to mention Vindictive, who's caught in the middle of all this. No way Nee would be okay with this scheme. I know them. But if Valkyrie is willing to kill Coda just for embarrassing her, what would she do to us if we tried to expose her?
I don't know. I don't know.
This is bigger than I ever thought it'd be. Maybe bigger than a little team can take on.
YOLO!
YOLO, I say we destroy her. It's so fucking funny. I'm just as worried, Grace, but you're right that this is bigger than our little team. But that's why we have to do something about it. If she gets away with this, it sends a message that anything goes in the name of esports success. That bad actors can go unpunished and toxicity is acceptable. So maybe we'll be putting ourselves at risk, but we have to act.
As you wish.
Then we will act, so be it. What's your plan for exposing the crimes of Victoria Proud and toppling the throne of Team Play to win? How will we beat her, you ask? Simple. I have no idea, but I'm hoping it'll be simple. Oh, it's quite simple, actually. We just need to install a packet sniffer and cheat detector package in the FoD2 machine, and it'll detect when her iris hacks in. Great! How do we do that? Well, I guess we convinced the Pro Tour organizers to install custom software of my own design, and trust when it says Valkyrie is cheating? Maybe this isn't so simple after all. I don't think one little newcomer team, especially one that is beaten by P2W in the past, will be able to convince them. So we require leverage. Something that will give us credibility, or at least a position of strength to be allowed to expose Valkyrie. This is going to take some planning. And given I've been through the emotional ringer today, my brain is shutting down. Can we pick this up tomorrow? I'll consider the options and get back to you. Of course, we'll trust you to find a path through this unknown territory. Bearing in mind that one misstep will result in what little we have left of our public image after being annihilated, effectively ending the Patriot Coalition forever. Yes, that. Let's avoid that, if we can. It's official. I am in way over my head here. Defending my team and esports as a whole from a megalomaniac tyrant willing to kill to get what she wants. This isn't about winning or losing anymore. It's not about my championship glory, my dreams of glory. Now we must fight to survive. And if I can't find a way out of this situation, it'll be the end of the Patriot Coalition and possibly my life. Nah, you have like a support system. I won't get to that point. Now it's the end of the chapter. Damn. You've cleared level 7 of Arcade Spirits, the new challengers. Victory! Let's take a look at your scores. You're proving to be a gentle, sweet, and compassionate soul. Also, you've scored 38,350 points. A winner is you. Would you like to change your personal metadata at this time? No. Yes, I would like to save the game, and yes, it's the final level next level, which is gonna be, woo, it's gonna be a lot, I'm sure. Woo! That was a lot of emotions and whiplash, and I feel about as emotionally wrung out as my character probably. Maybe on like a lighter scale, but about as wrung out. God! But no, I do enjoy this game. I enjoyed the first one as much, if not the same. Like, honestly, they're both super good. The writing's super fun. I have small nitpicky things about particular parts of it, like the first Arcade Spirits did not have a wider range of like body types to pick from, so that felt kind of limiting. They fixed that with this one. Occasionally they say things such as like the narcissistic sociopath thing, which like I'll take issue with, but like that's not something I necessarily expect everyone to be on top of, because, like, it's kind of one of those things that's still not super mainstream, and I get it. I get that, like, you probably don't know anyone that fits that category other than people who have been bad and labeled as such. But, like, people who have narcissistic complexes and people who have sociopathy, like, those people are not who you think they are. They're, like, your friends and family and people that you work with and people that you would never fucking guess. Because the like, association of the behaviors are not the people. Like, I know so many people who would be considered narcissists, but they don't act narcissistically, and so people would never fucking know. They just wouldn't. And, like, I have loved ones who are considered sociopaths, and they love me. Just because you're a sociopath doesn't mean that, like, you don't still have connections to people and affection and feelings and things. It just means that, like, the way that you interact with people is totally different. So, I don't know. I'll patch that out next. I mean, you don't have to change things. Like, I'm not, like, the arbitrary rule of, like, how things affect it. Like, maybe having just, like, a warning that's like, hey, sometimes they say shit that you may not, you know, agree with because it's other people's writing. I'm not like the arbitrary deciding force of who and what and how people interact, but just know that that might have a violent response from some people, because it's just one of those things that's like, it really is just like going up to somebody and be like, oh yeah, you're just a depressed son of a bitch, huh? You know, and it's like, damn, fuck. And I'm just like, yeah, that would be a fucking rude thing to do, sort of thing. And, like, I know logically that, like, the things about people who are considered narcissists, like, pathologically, and the people who are considered sociopaths pathologically are different from, like, the colloquial terms of it. But it's just one of those things where, like...
It's like when people are like, oh my god, that was so OCD of me, and I'm like...
Yeah, it's like when people are like, haha, you're just, like, so OCD. And it's like it's just one of those things where, like, you probably have no idea about it unless you actually know someone who has it or are personally affected by it. I get it. I get it when people do that. Because, like, that's just... I get it. I do. Like, when I was a kid... in elementary school, one other kid, we were both like 6. One kid called another kid like the R slur, and my little brother, like my next oldest in the line of 9, has Down syndrome. I had all my life heard people call him that, and I hated it, and I knew that it upset him, so it upset me. So, like, from a very young age, I was ready to die on the hill of, you call people the R slur and I'm gonna get up in your fucking face. And so I, like, screamed in this other kid's face and made him cry with how angry I was. And that's just how I am. And, like, I knew logically that not everyone knew that that was a bad thing to say because adults said it to my brother all the time. But I also knew that it made my brother feel bad, and so I was ready to fucking murder people if they did it. And it's very much the same now that, like, one of my partners basically does have sociopath tendencies. Like, that's one of those things that was, like, written on the chart as a child kind of thing. And, like, I love that partner desperately, and that partner loves me. And it just makes me frustrated when people just use it as shorthand for things that have words. Like, you're not a sociopath if you manipulate people. You're manipulative if you manipulate people. And if you have no regard for their well-being, it's because you're callous, not because you're a sociopath. That kind of thing. But I understand that, like, the colloquial of it is that, like, people are used to saying it. But, like, people back when I was a kid were used to saying, you're a fucking R word, if they just thought you were stupid or dumb or whatever. And people are slowly growing to understand that that kind of language is hurtful, and I get that. I don't expect everyone to know it off the bat, but I do just kind of have, like, a hair trigger for it, too, is, like, my unfortunate sort of an initial response to seeing it in the world, because it is frustrating, but I also get that people aren't, like, everyone has different experiences in life. I get it when people do that, and I don't think that people are, like, horrible people for doing it in the first place, and I do very much appreciate that you're willing to, like, not do that again. Like, that's really the only thing I can ever ask of other people is, like, try and be more respectful when you can when people call you out on it, and I respect you for having that kind of response to that, even if you're not, like, beholden to me to do as such. But, yeah, I don't know. That's just a lot of emotions and heavy things. Damn. But I do love these games. I do so much. Because they're just genuinely good. And I'm not here to, like, shit all over things that are explicitly queer from the get-go because they're not perfectly non-problematic. Because, like, everything's problematic when you get down to it, really. There's always gonna be something. I cannot stand on some sort of pedestal and cast judgment upon others. My favorite fucking movie is Rocky Horror Picture Show. Like, people are so multifaceted it wouldn't even have enough time to try and explain that kind of thing. But regardless, I do love this game. I'm gonna finish it. I'm gonna play the next level sometime later this week. Maybe tomorrow. Who knows? But I do love it. I do have a lot of fun. I don't hate it for, like, small things of that nature, because, like, people live and learn. It's what it is, you know? Whatever. But anyway, this has been fun. I'm gonna take a break. Probably play more Hypixel, because that's what I've been doing for the last 4 days, and I can't end my streak now. So I'm gonna go do that. And you'll probably see me tomorrow. So all you have a good rest of your day. See ya!